WBCBradio.com.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so bad to the point where he had to end up in the emergency room. And he has spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy to tell people not to smoke around your kids.
4 out of 10 U.S. kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. If you or someone you know wants free help to quit smoking, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL Levittown.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Welcome to Wide Open Wednesday, your favorite racing show here on WBCB. Here are your hosts, Nick Leach and Fred Fletcher.
All right, I'm going to get this out of the way right off the bat. All right, the Eagles, congratulations. You've done a wonderful job. I was kind of hard on Steve about the Eagles and our buddy.
Hard doesn't describe it.
They just killed Kansas City.
We're
and
mean
you know,
at some points.
I'm not an Eagle fan. I'm a Jason Kelsey fan. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. Saquon Barkley fan. But I'm not an Eagles fan.
I got you, Steve.
And the reason why I'm not, I'll tell you the reason why I'm not. Watch the news and see what the idiots did after. You do not do that. Your team wins the world championship and you tear up your own town. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know it's ridiculous, but it happens in every city.
Oh, yeah, it happens in every city.
Well, they're only
Especially
showing
San
it because
Francisco.
it's our city, but whatever. They won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is for real. Congratulations, guys. You get to go the whole year. And you know what? They got a really, really good chance of doing it again. But, like I said before they won the game, the devil's going to come knocking, and you're going to start losing people. Who's the first guy that they lost? The offensive coordinator. Somebody's going to come knocking for somebody else. And that's what always ruins a partial dynasty as far as stuff like that. They come poaching for the guys that they want. What's he going to do for New Orleans? He should have just stayed put.
I don't know. I think Howie Roseman will find somebody to fill in.
I'm sure he will.
He
But
had a bad year last year, and then they came back with a vengeance
yeah, but
this year.
they got a chance to win 2 in a row. And now you bring another offensive coordinator in there, and he may not be as good as he was, and then you got to struggle for a year, and then you got to build again. And then
Howie also knows enough not to grab anybody from the Cowboys.
yeah, well that's true. But we have 5 Super Bowls, and you still have 2.
So
you're at the bottom
maybe
of the
this
list.
is a good thing for that coach. Maybe it's good for him and his family. Right?
Well, yeah, it is good for his family, and that's what happens. I think there should be a clause when you go to a team and you're an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. If you're a coordinator in a high output team, a team that has a chance to win the Super Bowl, if you win the Super Bowl, you should not be allowed to go to another team for 3 years. I think you have to stay. Then nobody's going to be a dynasty anymore. It ain't happening. Everybody thought the Chiefs were a dynasty. Surprise. Now the Eagles got a chance. The Chiefs got to start all over again. The Eagles only got to win 2 more to make it 3 in a row. Remember that.
Plus, they're the second youngest team out there.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Packers.
Yes. And they've done a great job. You can't take it away from them. There's people saying Jalen ain't for real, and this and he's for real.
He's for real.
They are for real. And Nick Sirianni cares about his players. Watch all the videos. You'll see how the players love the guy. I don't have to like him. He don't pay my bills. None of them guys pay my bills. But they got the job done. They're the champions. Go down Philadelphia Friday. You'll see how much they love their team. You'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have Warren with us today.
Yeah, our Super Bowl is Sunday, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daytona 500.
Daytona 500. We have Dina with us today. We have Warren's Wisdom today. We have Fred with us today. We have Steve with us today, who told me, he said, I don't know. He goes, they're going to win. So I owe Steve a beer. But Warren's going to talk about some great stuff today, guys. So if you're listening, we have some great guests that are going to call. Also, we want to wish Derica Boucher get well. She had some surgery done. Of course, her husband is the race director at Big Diamond. She does a lot of media stuff, and they both work at Big Diamond, as a matter of fact. So Derica, get well soon. We need you back at the racetrack. I'm going to turn this over to Warren real quick and let Warren do what he's got to do and tell everybody what they need to have or know, which they should already know, but Warren's going to refresh that. Go ahead, Warren.
Yeah, so, as we get into the 2025 season, and we've had motorsports, right? They've had a couple of the other car shows out in central Pennsylvania. Folks have probably bought, new equipment, right? Maybe a new set of belts, maybe, got a new car, whatever it might be. It's time to really want to check that. And if you haven't and you just refresh some things, take a look at all your equipment, right? To help out with the inspectors, right? So our buddy Matt from New Egypt, he and I were talking the other day about the fire suppression systems. To help the inspectors, if you have your fire suppression system bottle mounted, have it mounted so it's visible for the inspectors to see, right? Because they have to capture some information off the tank, right? They want to take a look to make sure the bottle is charged. They need to look at the expiration date, right? When is it due? They want to make sure that that's done. They want to make sure that it's mounted properly, right? It's not going to fall out of the car, when you're racing and things like that. So please make sure that the inspectors can see your fire suppression system, right? There is no. I think some racetracks have a rule or have it noted in the rule book where you should mount the bottles. I don't know if New Egypt has anything in their rule book, right, or Bridgeport, but please make it accessible for those inspectors, right?
What's the most common place to mount them?
A lot of drivers have them behind the back of the driver's seat. I call it the 7A bar because of my NASCAR days, but the bar that's right behind the head support. Okay. That bar that's there of the I call it the TP that comes up on the off that bar there. They have it mounted right there. It's easy for the inspectors to see. They can check to make sure your travel pin is not in the head of the extinguisher, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of people forget to take out, right? And I don't know, who owns that, whether it is a crew member that owns taking it out, the driver does before they get it in a race car, but you need to make sure that travel pin is not in the head of the bottle, because like a pin of a fire extinguisher, you have to pull the pin out, and before you squeeze the handles to discharge it, same thing, you have to pull the pin out of the head of that fire bottle so that if it's an automatic system or a manual system, it'll activate. But with that pin in there, it won't activate. Right. Now the travel pin's in there so that the system doesn't go off during you're traveling from point A to point B, garage to the racetrack to racetrack, whatever it might be. But you need to make sure that that's taken out. That's one of the key things.
I just bought my fire suppression system still in the box.
Yep.
So I was looking around at where I put it. I'm like, well, the most logical place is right where you said. So I'm like, in for aesthetics, I'm putting it back there. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably where I'll put it. But now that you told me that, it
just makes it easier for the inspectors to see it, right? I know some drivers have it in different places because obviously there is weight to that. There is, I'm not going to get into the technical part of where they need to put it, why they put it there, but I think everyone understands it, right? We don't have to get into that, but doing that, it makes it very hard for everybody to look at the stuff. So if you could just make sure that it's accessible, that helps them. Take a look at your belts too, right? I mean, if you got a new set of belts at Motorsports and you've put them in, make sure they're mounted right? Make sure that they're locked through back the H clip. The tail is back through the H clip. That's very important. Once you get yourself situated in the seat, and everything's right for you, make sure all the tails are locked and things like that. Take a look. I got a lot of questions going into Atlantic City. Variety of racers reached out, whether it was a go-kart competitor, slingshot, dirt 600, or TQ. Hey, my helmet is a 2015. Is it okay? Yes, an SA 2015 helmet is good through this year. At the end of this year, when you get into 26, then that 2015 helmet is no longer valid to use because it's 10 years old.
So after 10 years,
Yeah,
Done.
yeah,
Okay.
right. And then
not to get away from
No,
the seat belts. What are they usually? How long do they usually?
so on the
I
SFI label,
one, so I know.
SFI label. It's a little white label that's usually on the left or right shoulder, depending on which one. Right. It's 2 years from the date manufacturer. That's the standard. That's what it is in New Jersey and most places. Some racetracks in Pennsylvania go at 5 years. Right. Some tracks don't even have any regulations in Pennsylvania, and that's okay. But we, as competitors, because that's what's holding us in a race car, should replace our belts every 2 years from the date of manufacture, right? Because you're washing the car, right? You may have been involved in an incident, may have stressed the belts, so on and so forth. So you want to make sure that you get them replaced, right?
Now, you had mentioned one time before when you were on here before, guy gets in an accident, stretches the belts. Should they get rid of them belts or should they get them checked?
They should get rid of them. If you've been in a pretty violent crash, right, where you've, I don't want to say junked the race car, but you get the point what I'm making.
Right.
Whether it's a New Egypt sprint car or modified or even a 4-cylinder, right? We've had some bad 4-cylinder wrecks over the years. You know, if you stress those belts, you should replace them. Right.
Exactly.
And a lot of guys don't know that.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same as passenger cars with the body shops and stuff. Insurance companies will not sign off on a repair until the seatbelts and airbags are all certified again.
Right. So you want to make sure that you're taking a look at them and getting them done, right? So we talked about the helmets, right? We saw a lot of competitors with issues with driver PPE. In Atlantic City, right? We had gloves that were ripped, damaged, torn, fire suits, shoes, so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that take a look at all your equipment before racing season. It's very important in regards to that. Take a look at the trailers.
Yeah.
Right? When you look at the trailer, make sure that all your lights are working on the trailer. Take a look at the winch that's going to be pulling the race car up into the trailer. If that cable is frayed, it's starting to come apart. Do you really want that pulling your 2,300-pound race car up into the trailer?
And everybody stands around the front of the car at the end of the night.
Exactly. If you have, I think we've seen, pictures on that have made the internet where you have the 53-foot trailers. They put the race car up top where the lift gate has failed.
Yep.
Take a look at all those things. Make sure they're, it's just give them a once-over. It doesn't take too much to do that. Right, make sure that
and
that's
there. You got plenty of time now to do it.
Exactly,
if
and this
running.
is the time that you want to do it, right? Because you've probably got your race car, about done. It's going to be going over to, somebody to get lettered or wrapped. We don't paint them anymore like we used to, but so you want to make sure that take a look at the stuff that you can look at, while the car is at the shop getting lettered and wrapped. It's real important. And then take a look at, again, all your mounts, right? Make sure that everything, you got a nice wide and big washer at the back of your bolts of the seat. Make sure that everything's mounted. If you have any question, most racetracks have a contact number, for the inspector that's going to be at your racetrack, right? Joe Schwed down at New Egypt, the team down at Bridgeport, Ed Barber and those guys. They would love to chat with you pre-season so that when you come, you have everything. You're right, and you're 100% coming on the racetrack. So.
Yeah, but if you go on Bridgeport's webpage or you go on New Egypt's, it's all in the rule book, right?
Well, it's in the rule book too. But you have, if you have a question, right. If you read something and it's you're not sure, that's why they list those numbers there, right? I know Chris is the new. Vice president of racing operations. He's always available to answer questions. But the tech guys, right? They're always available. And they would rather spend 5 minutes on a phone call making sure that your stuff's right when you come into the racetrack. That's real important in regards to that. So
we're going to let Warren sit for a second here. We're going to go to Billy Kleinspin from Maple Grove. Then we're going to go right back to Warren. Billy, what's going on, Bill?
Hi, guys. How are you? A bunch of good things going on right now. The same things coming through, and that's definitely applied to me right now with all of our junior races getting recognized at the Division I banquet. Also, number 2 with Maple Grove Raceway getting Rotor Track of the Year again. And number 3, Fly Eagles Fly. We brought home our second Super Bowl championship. By the way, guys, the next time I see you, I still have a bottle of leftover champagne that I'm going to crack open for you guys so we can all share it. But I must say, I'm living the high life right now.
Well, you got some things coming up. How much snow did you guys get up in that area, Bill?
We got about 3 inches of snow. Right now, I bet you a lot of the viewers probably wish we were on some private island right now. I'm sure you guys could probably Photoshop us in on the private island somewhere on the show. We could probably do that one time when we get snow again. But yeah, we got about 3 inches of snow. But for snow lovers out there, hey, this was their time this year after all the mild winters we've had. But
Yeah.
I'm a big snow lover too, so I enjoy the snow whenever we get it.
All right, what do we got coming up, Bill, in the near future at Maple Grove?
Well, next weekend, weather permitting, we'll be having our final no prep race of the winter season, along with the daily driver race. For those of you that came out to our one in December, that was a really big hit, so we're giving you one more chance at the track before the season begins. Also, the no prep racers that were there for the other no prep races that we had this season, all of our Philly friends that are going to be coming out to join us. And then we also have a big car show and a burnout contest on Sunday of next weekend. So we all look forward to seeing everybody at Maple Grove Raceway next weekend. As always, more information about some of our upcoming events through the season. Check us out on maplegroveraceway.com and all of our social media pages. And also, if you guys got nothing to do this weekend, if you want to head over to the Pennsylvania State Farm Show Complex, Motorama will be there. Motorama is a big partner of our Super Chevy show. That's always a big hit at Maple Grove Raceway. They do our car show. We're going to have a display there. So come on out and learn about Maple Grove Raceway.
All right, Billy, we appreciate you, and you'll keep us up to date on everything that needs to happen at Maple Grove. We appreciate you calling every Wednesday, brother.
Will do, guys, and I do have an update for you. Last week with my singing of Fly Eagles Fly, I didn't get any record contracts, and I wasn't asked to be on The Masked Singer or America's Got Talent. But I do have some good news. I did hit the top 100 on Billboard's the hottest new artist list, so maybe I do have
All
a
right, Bill,
career
you
in
got my
singing
vote,
one
brother.
day.
Nice.
All right, we got to take a break, Steve, real quick, and then we'll come back with Warren's Wisdom.
Do you feel the need for speed and are a car racing fan? Then tune in every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. for the Need for Speed Auto Show, hosted by me, America's mechanic, Fred Fletcher. Everything you want to know about our local tracks and races to the NASCAR scene, as well as our area car shows and cruise nights. Brought to you by Fletcher's Garage in Fairless Hills and heard every Thursday morning at 9:30 on WBCB 1490 AM, 107.3 FM, and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so bad to the point where he had to end up in the emergency room. And he has spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy to tell people not to smoke around your kids.
4 out of 10 U.S. kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. If you or someone you know wants free help to quit smoking, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
And we're back here on Wide Open Wednesday. Once again, here are your hosts, Nick Leach and Fred Fletcher.
And
we need
Warren
more
Alston
wisdom.
And Dina.
And Dina.
Right. Oh, you can't forget Dina.
Sure you can.
She ain't going to let us forget her, so that's beside the point. All right, we're going to get back to the second half of Warren's Wisdom. So go ahead, Warren, continue where you were.
So lastly, one of the things that I think is very important for everybody to do now, while, obviously after you checked everything and you're comfortable where everything's at, practice getting out of your race car. Practice getting out of your race car, right? Get in the garage, turn the lights off, and practice getting out of your race car.
Yeah, you said that several times.
I mean, that is so important to do that, right? I think everybody saw the incident that occurred over the weekend down in, down under, You know, in Australia, sprint car gets up on its side. It's it's driver's right down, and the fuel lights off, and it's on fire. And the track services team is right there. They're fighting the fire. The driver starts getting out. They start spraying him with the appropriate extinguishing agent, and because the driver had practiced being in that situation, the wing was collapsed down on the car. He was able to get out of that car, in relatively short order, right?
Right.
And all his driver paraphernalia equipment protected him, right? I don't believe he had any significant burns because, like I said, they showed him, being checked out by the ambulance crew. But that's so important, right? It's like when Apcar flipped down the front stretch at Egypt. He's upside down in the thing. He's trying to get out. Like, you need to know, like, how to do all that because, you're going to be, rolling over 3 or 4 different times. You're going to be confused. You're going to be disoriented. You're going to be like, well, like, where are things at, right? You're just, I got 10 fingers, 10 toes, okay. And now, you're trying to get out. So it's that, is very important to do that so that, it's literally muscle memory, right? Okay, undo the steering wheel, toss that up out of the way, hit the belts, and go.
I've had a chance to, like, with my job at New Egypt, I had a chance to be down on the front stretch when you were there.
Yeah.
And when you first got there, and I've always heard you say, all right, this is what we're going to do.
Right, yep.
We're going to roll the car back over, and then we're going to check you again, and we're in play. It's like you're doing it play by play, scripted, and never had a problem.
No, it's so important because the more that you can, especially if they're upside down, let us get to you, right?
Yep.
Don't undo your belts because that just makes it so much harder for you to get out. Unless you think there's a threat of a fire, then that's different. But when track services can get to you real quick, or somebody from a flag stand, right? Just hang in there, right? We're gonna roll that car over and we'll get you out. I'm going to be teaching a class up in New York, for a couple of the tracks up in New York, Fonda, Utica Rome, Glen Ridge, and some others. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're actually bringing the tow truck drivers to the training session, and we're going to talk about utilizing the wreckers to roll the car overs, right? There's a gentleman that services some of the racetracks up there. He can pull his wrecker up real quick. He can hook the cables up to it and slowly roll the car over, in very short order, so the driver can get out in a normal way of getting out instead of trying to scramble to get out. So, I think that's important to do that, and communication, right? Just tell everybody what you're going to do. It's like when we had Anthony's incident in Atlantic City, we talked Anthony through the whole step of what we did.
And that's pretty cool. Like I've watched that first. First thing you watch is the Warren Olson, Pete Rose slide. Like at New Egypt, he usually slides underneath the car, and he's like right in their face, and they're probably, "Oh, how'd you get here?" And Warren's always the first one there. He usually beats everybody there. I mean, I've seen him get out of the flag stand so fast. You don't know whether he jumped from the top. You don't know how he got there so fast, and he needs to be commended for that because he really cares about the people that are out there on the racetrack. And the team that you usually put together is probably the best team around.
Yeah, well, we're lucky, at the indoor series that we have we have the Salmons family that provides us the resources to have the team there, right? We have our partners from Oswego Speedway that bring down one of their fire trucks that they use out Oswego, right? That's our fire truck that travels with us. We have a fire extinguisher vendor, Dan Campion and his company. They provide us all the fire extinguishers, right? And then all the guys and gals that work with us in the series safety team, we all have that same desire, right?
Why wouldn't you want to have that, though, at every track? Why wouldn't you want to have the best of the best safety crew? Why wouldn't you? I mean, I know you don't want to answer that.
Safety sometimes gets to be a necessary evil, but when you look at
but if you save one guy, man,
I agree.
You save
Absolutely.
one guy,
Absolutely.
That's worth its weight in gold. And
so you have,
I've seen
obviously,
you save a lot of people.
We have, the motorsports recovery team that helps out with Brett Deo and his people. They were down at the Alltech Raceway. They work at Georgetown and they work at Delaware Speedway.
Right.
So they have that there. Obviously, Bridgeport, Doug Rose and his team, they have their own equipment and personnel there. New Egypt has the New Egypt Fire Company, first aid and rescue and emergency services
me
there.
Me and Nancy went to watch a wrestling match Saturday, and a couple kids got nicked up, and the guy ran out there with his case and all that. I told Nancy, I said, Now you know what Warren does. He does that at hockey games and all this
I was there
other
last
stuff.
night,
He's
yeah.
the guy that's going out there and fixing their arm and fixing their little boo-boos. I said, that's what... She goes, nuh-uh. I said, I'm telling you, that's what he does. I said, that's what he does during the week. I said, he does so much stuff safety-wise. She goes, I would have never guessed that. I said, yep. I said, so, you know, you never know. If Nolan gets over the bridge, he's liable to run into Uncle Warren over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to wrap up our safety stuff, right, you know, and if anybody has a question, right, and maybe they don't feel comfortable asking the safety folks, right, I'm on all the social medias. Feel free to reach out, right? You know, it's very... very easy to find me.
Yeah, go to the Wide Open Wednesday page.
Right, go to the Wide Open Wednesday page, right? You can leave a message there. Right, flag to flag, solutions, right? Feel free to let us know, like he says, and I'll be glad to help out and answer any questions and things like that, because like I said, it's important to make sure you guys are all safe.
All right, we got a phone call.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yeah, put them on.
This is going to be fun.
There you go.
What are they paying you to call in every week?
I plead the fifth on that.
What's going on, Glenn? How are you? I mean, have you been out in this weather? This is terrible, dude. This is messing everything up for everybody.
Well, I'm actually home, and I got two elderly neighbors, and I shoveled my stuff as well as theirs.
You're the man. That's why you're who you are, my man. What's going on?
My one neighbor's 96 years old. She's definitely not coming out to do her stuff. You know.
No, absolutely not. God bless her.
The other neighbors have health issues and everything, so I take care of them too when I can. But anyway, the reason I called you is, number one, why do they sell the belts when they expire in the middle of the season?
Warren?
And number two is, okay, when the belts do expire in the middle of the season, like say it's June or whatever, do they honor them until the end of the season? That's my question. I guess that would go to Warren, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, Glenn, great question. I don't know why the parts suppliers will sell belts when they're going to expire in 90 to 120 days, right? I don't know that answer, right?
The thing of it is you have the belts on there, and I bought them 2 years ago, let's say, and then they expire, and why do they expire in June? Why don't they have them sell them so that this expires in January? Versus June.
January
so that
to
way,
right? January to January.
Mine expire in July.
Right,
July 2027.
I just think that it's the month that the belt was made by the manufacturer, right?
So it's up to us to buy the right ones.
Whether you did, you're getting it from Schroth or Simpson or say belt, whatever, right? Race car, right? Whatever, that's the month that the manufacturer makes the belt. I think that's what they're going off of.
Maybe when we order them next time, Glenn, we should double check before we put the order in when they expire, when they were made.
If you go to Motorsports, you look at it and say, hey, this is going to expire middle of the season. You got anything that has January on it?
Well, I got mine from Race Quip, so
yeah.
it's I went right on the Race Quip website. So, but I didn't pay attention. I noticed it says July or something on July 2027.
Right. And then the second part of that is normally I haven't had any issues, but normally they honor them till the end of the season, and then after that it's like, no, you got to change them.
Yeah. I was gonna say each racetrack, right? Each venue that you go to, right? It's the inspectors are going to take a look at that, and they'll give you that ruling or judgment decision of when they're going to do that, Glenn.
Right. All right, that was my question.
All right, well, we got them lined up like airplanes coming into the airport. Glenn, thanks for calling. We appreciate your call.
All right.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
All right, brother. Who we got next?
Thank you.
There's Steven.
We got John Cameron.
All right. We got Mr. John Cameron, and Warren Alston is going to talk to John because Warren knows John better than we do, and we appreciate you calling, John. So you're going to get to talk to a familiar guy, Mr. Warren Alston. Warren?
Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, Warren?
Good. I'll give a little backstory on John. John is our one of our indoor series officials.
Okay.
And if you ever see a vehicle that needs a push, John's the guy who jumps on a four-wheeler.
Okay.
You know, almost 100% of the time, and he's pushing them all for us and stuff like that. And of course, we put the loop across the racetrack.
Okay.
So John's constantly driving and ducking at the same time because the loop's going to get him every time he comes by us. So.
He was a motocross racer, right?
Yep. Yeah. John's a former motocross racer, right?
Wow.
Current great sportsman driver, right, John?
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Yep. John, talk to me a little bit about your early days in racing. You know, what kind of got you into racing? You know, from your love of motocross to where you are today.
Well, my family back in like the 60s and 70s used to own a sportsman modified that my uncle drove. And my uncles and my dad and everybody worked on the car. And I kind of grew up in that, but I kind of missed that because I wasn't old enough to be around for that. But I grew up going to all the local dirt tracks on the East Coast. And racing at that time with cars really wasn't in the financial realm for me. But motocross is what I grew up with, and it was affordable. And I did that for quite a long time into my mid-20s until an injury ended that.
Sure.
And then that's when I started going with the Fred Kennedy crew. And Fred is like he's like a family member. We're not related to him, but he's been a part of our family for a long time. And
yeah.
And Freddie pretty much gave me my career, and I started working over in his facility, then got involved with sprint cars, and a lot of years over there with all the drivers with the 56 card and the 89 car was still wagging. It was a hell of a time.
Yeah, absolutely. So John, you know, you mentioned your experience, you know, with Fred's sprint car team. You know, what's your role on the team right now, and what are some of the valuable lessons that you learned being a part of Fred's team?
Fred's team, he pretty much just taught me how to maintain the cars, you know, in a professional manner. And when I moved up along to Salmons with his 410, that really helped out, you know, because working with Davey out in central Pennsylvania, that's a whole other deal out there. And you got to have the cars where they're not falling apart, they're staying together. That way you can finish races. It's already tough enough as it is. Yeah, sounds good. So, John, what made you get behind the wheel and race in the crate division?
One day I was sitting on my boat, and I just turned 50. And I called Bruce Giselle. He's a real good friend of mine. And I say, hey, Bruce, let me rent that car one weekend. I just want to try it once. And he goes, you're not renting the car. You're going to drive it. So we went to New Egypt and ran that rookie division. We started about halfway through the season with it and ran that rookie season out, and then we went to Bridgeport. Well, I fell in love with Bridgeport. I really like Bridgeport. Doug Rose has a really nice facility there, and he really took care of us. And we just got better and better every week, and we were really having a good time. That's pretty much all we're looking for, is to have a good time. You know, we're not highly funded, and we're just there to turn laps and try to finish every week.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of that, it actually transitions right into my next question. What are some of the goals that you have for yourself in crate racing here in 2025?
We're going to pick right up where we left off last year. Our goal last year was to do all the laps, and we did that. We never got towed off the track. I mean, we didn't finish sometimes where we wanted to finish, but we finished.
That's right,
and, it's the same thing this year. Make all the laps, try to get up in the top 10 some more, and see where that takes us.
Cool. Excellent. And John, last question for you, bud, is do you have any advice for the young racers who are kind of looking to follow a similar path of yours, right? Getting a car, getting into the rookie division, and go from there. Do you have any advice you could pass on, any words of wisdom?
That's a really good question, because Bruce and I talk about this in the shop all the time. When you go to the racetracks anymore, you don't see a whole lot of younger teenagers like you used to back in the day, because they're not really exposed to this anymore. And we actually approached our township and on social media trying to pull younger people into the sport. And we got a kid from high school shop class named Dimitri. He's going to help us out this year. But it's basically the same thing. These kids got to go be exposed to it, and then find somebody that's willing to teach them.
Right, absolutely. You know, John, I mean, I think you know my history is the kid in the grandstand, you know, behind, you know, the flagman's working up, and you see where I'm at today with my flagging career. So I think it's great that you're providing an opportunity for younger, our younger generation, right, to get out and to learn about racing and learn about the sport, and we get to share the passion, that we have with with racing.
Yep. I'd like to add a couple things too.
Sure, go ahead.
Bruce Giselle, he's the owner of the car, and he pretty much opened up his doors for me, and been one hell of a mentor for me. I mean, he's been 100% supportive through the whole teaching me how to drive, because it's a completely different animal, wrenching on the car to going out and doing what I'm doing now. And my crew, Jeff Parker, Wayne, and Daniel, and Dimitri, and even Bruce's wife, Debbie. We all put our part in, and it's a lot, and I got to thank these guys, and Davey Salmon, Sammy Westcott, and Bob Lyman. They help me out with parts, and Davey's tremendous help with getting the car right.
No, absolutely. And there's some heavy hitters there that's supporting you as well. Do you have any sponsors you want to mention real quick before we wrap up, Al?
Yeah, right now we got G&T Erectors. That's pretty much Bruce's company. They do some buildings over in the cities and stuff, and we couldn't do it without them. Awesome.
Well, listen, John. Before you know it, we'll be back together again at the dirt here in Trenton at the Cure Auto Arena. So, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for taking some time out of your evening to chat with us, and we'll see you here in just a little bit.
We appreciate you calling, John. Thank you very much.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, John. Take care.
All right. Where's this guy been? He's usually the first caller. Earl, what you do?
Hey,
fall asleep on the couch?
Good evening, everyone.
You fall asleep on the couch?
No, Earl, he was letting everybody else get their stuff.
No, I've been listening to an excellent show tonight. Boy, I tell you, guys are great.
Thank you.
Hey, I got to mention Warren, of course. Very interesting. Warren's wisdom there, talking about the various safety aspects tonight. And I want to compliment you and Steve Barrick collaborating on an excellent article in this week's Area Auto Racing News about race driver concussion protocols. Excellent story there, and that's something that has really come to the forefront. And my compliments on that story, the research that you did with Steve, and really appreciate that. And I'm sure that's should be required readings for racers and officials and fans.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Earl. It was something that was heavily discussed at with the International Council of Motorsport Sciences at PRI this past December about grassroots racing and concussions, and obviously there's the national series teams have a traveling safety person or a medical liaison that's always with them. But how do we do that on the grassroots side of things? So super honored that Steve reached out and chatted with me, about it, because it is something it's near and dear to what I do.
Is there?
Yeah, and as it's been referenced, from national football right on down, this is something, with concussions that people didn't realize years ago.
Right.
And it could be just like a recreational type accident, and no one really realized the ramifications of what would happen in later years. So it's really good that, on a local level, people like yourself have really noticed it and, are alerting the racers and, again, the officials that what could happen. So very well done. Again, my compliments.
Earl, if a guy gets upside down, barrel rolls end for end, should we check them in the ambulance to see if they have any signs of having it? Is there a way of checking?
Well, yes, there is a way. But one of the things I talked about with Steve is that our drivers don't have, or our local racetracks don't have an ability to do a standardized concussion assessment, right? Pre-season. Right.
Okay.
Like Earl mentioned, all of the sports teams, right?
Okay.
When you heard somebody going into concussion protocol,
and they go into
right,
tent.
so they had to go into the tent, right? Or afterwards, they failed that evaluation of the tent because they have a neurologist that's there that's administering the test, right? So when you have the standardized concussion assessment testing that's done, SCAT, that's SCAT 6, so they've improved it for so where it's at now, so you know where baseline is.
Okay.
And then when you have an incident, where the old proverbial go back in the day, right? I had my bell rung,
Right.
You know,
Right.
then they reassess you and do that same test.
Right.
And they'll be able to see, okay, if my score was, say, 21, and now my score is at 15, well, there's a known deficit, right? Especially if you don't have any outward signs
right.
of a you know, what we would see as a concussion, right?
Right.
So there's a way to do that. But for us on the local side,
there's no way.
The EMTs that are there and the paramedics, right, we're able to say, you know, are you alert? You know, responding to us, you know, what we call alert and oriented × 3. You know, or is it that, you know, you keep on asking the same question, like, who's that sitting next to you?
Right.
What just happened?
Right.
Like, you know, like that. Those repetitive type questions, like that's a sign.
Okay.
That, there's something that's there. It may not be a symptom because they're not complaining of something.
Right.
But then you have something like, oh, man, my head's killing me, or you know, it's. Right. Or you see them trying to read something and they're like, they don't wear glasses like you and I, and they're like, squinting trying to read it because everything's double vision. Right. So those are the signs that you have to look at, you know, in regards to that, so that, you know, so again, if a crew member who's with you all the time, and you're not acting to your norm to them, right? You know, like you keep on walking around, or you know, you just don't seem to be yourself. Right. That's a key where they should go back and get that second ambulance that's in the pit area and be like, hey, can you check out Joe?
Do an assessment.
I think something's wrong because he doesn't seem to be acting right, and that's when you can get into you get checked out.
Fred will never drive then because he's never acting.
No, I never act right. I'm walking around I have a permanent concussion.
But for us on a local side, that's the best we could do, right?
Okay.
Give a good assessment.
Right. I got you.
You know, stuff like that.
That's very good.
And one of the challenges is, though, when I talked with Steve about it, I says if somebody's at the Grove on a Friday night and takes a nasty flip that can occur,
right?
And then the next night they're running at Sealands Grove, Port Royal, Baps, Lincoln, and they've had that horrible crash.
Right.
It's like, how do we know that they're
okay?
They're okay.
Right.
Like who's saying that?
If somebody should have took a note the night before, right?
Okay. You know, I mean, I think we all, with social media today, we'll all know.
Yes.
That you know that Nick Leach was in a bad wreck, and you know, my God. You know, everything's okay.
We don't notice any difference.
But
thanks, Fred.
but like we all know it happens.
Right.
But like when he comes to the track the next day, it's like, you know, he's going to go race again because the crew, you know, brought the spare frame out and rebolted everything on.
Yep.
It's like, should he be racing? I don't know. Right.
Do we got another caller waiting, Steve? No, we're good. All right, good. Well, Earl, we're going to get ready for Trenton real quick here.
Yeah, Trenton's coming up.
Yes, indeed. Next weekend, February 21st and 22nd. And, you know, Warren, I know you'll be busy with Nicole. I guess she'll be working with you.
Yep.
And John Cameron, that was a nice interview you did. It was really excellent. And John will be turning a lot of laps.
Just lost
he does
my job.
Great work for us at the indoor series.
Be Wide Open Wednesday with Fred Fletcher and John Cameron.
And Warren Olson.
That was good. Yeah.
There we go.
No, it's we'll be the cast of characters will be together.
That's a good way to put it.
Looking forward to it. I think we're up to almost 90 competitors entered.
Yes, I was talking with Danny Salmons yesterday, and we're about to hit 90, and that's pretty much the cutoff point. 90 of the finest micro sprint racers around. It's going to be quite a show.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great weekend of racing. So get on out and come see us.
Yep.
All
right.
We'll be there.
We got callers online, Earl, waiting to get on here.
All right.
I'll talk to you
tomorrow.
Guys
go, and Fred, and we'll be talking to you tomorrow morning.
All right, great.
All right. We've been wanting to get this guy on the horn here. He's been a little bit under the weather, but he's a fighter, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. A lot of the fans have been calling and texting me and Fred and asking how he's doing. And finally, we get Clay Butler Sr. on the line. Papa Clay, how are you, buddy?
I am great, Nick. Thanks for asking. And first off, before we go any further, I want to thank each and every one of the fans. Our racing family has been phenomenal. I've received multiple phone calls from a lot of different people. First and foremost, Jimmy Halsworth, Sr., from up New York State.
Right.
I probably talk to him 2 or 3 times a day.
Good.
Gregory Nitz called me, and we chatted. Rich Jones, another guy that I've been through kindergarten all the way through high school with him, and he's been by my side each and every day. Of course, my family, Clay and Michelle, Bobby and Stephanie, Mike, Ashley, Barb, my grandchildren. I don't think I'd have got through this without all those people and the many racing people, the families, the text messages. It's overwhelming. I never knew how strong the racing family was, but boy, I found out in a hurry.
Well, that's what we're here for. When we work together and we play together, and you see each other every weekend for over 26 years, and Warren's sitting here beside me, and he feels the same way. And it would never ever be the same at New Egypt without you standing down the other end of that crossover gate. And there's so many people that love you and want you to get better, and just keep doing what you're doing with the doctors and take care of yourself. But a lot of people that listen to this show probably don't have no idea of the history that you're involved with my brother Ken. One of his favorite drivers was Oliver Butler. And I never knew who Oliver Butler was until my brother Kenny told me who he was. He said, "You ask Clay about Oliver Butler." Now, if you can do that quick for me, tell me who Ollie Butler was, because I never got to see him race.
I did. It was awesome.
That was my father. He would be the first one to the racetrack and the last one to leave. He would meet every fan, anybody that wanted to sit in his race car. He would sit on the fender of the trailer. When he drove the Silliman 4, he drove for my Uncle Foreman. That all started in 1958 with the BBB car. It was Foreman, Oliver, and Bill Butler, the three brothers.
Wow.
And it just grew from there. And this racing thing isn't just something that we do on the weekends. That's how we live.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be proud. You got to be proud of your kids, Clay. I mean, all of them are involved. Mikey, I watched Mikey sell programs, and Clay, and we went right up the ladder with them. I mean, I feel really old, watching them guys grow up and win features and get to stand out on the front straightaway with them and watch them win and get to talk to you. And it's got to be hard for you, being a pit steward and watching them out there and watch different things happen. And you got to take the needle and thread and sew your lips shut so you don't say something when you're not supposed to say it. And
when my kids are on the racetrack, there's no calls made from the pit shack.
Exactly. Even though you want to, I know there's sometimes you want to do that, but you got to be really proud of them.
I shake my head and walk away, but even like when we do a pill draw, I won't do a pill draw that involves any of my children without somebody else being in the pit shack. And usually when they come in to do their pill draw, I step outside.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
I leave that up to Bill and Jimmy Mitch and whoever. Amy Schwed, she's in the pit shack a lot, and they can vouch for that. That when last time Mikey drew, there was 100 pills in there, and he drew 86. What's that tell you?
Right. And speaking of pill draws, I mean, I know people were freaking out over the Sunshine Swing, Stuart freezing, and all that. I mean, what did people follow Stewie around and Brett around to make sure that they weren't checking each other in the bathroom to see, all right, here's what you got to draw, Stu. This is where I'm going to drop it. I mean, come on, really? I mean, Clay, you could tell the fans yourself that stuff ain't fixed. It can be fixed, but it ain't.
It's not. It's definitely not. Knowing Brett Deo, no way in hell is that fixed. That's the man's lucky.
Well, we wanted to get you on here. We wanted to get you on here, and we're going to have you on when Earl does his time capsule, because we there's a lot of history with your family. We want you to come in the studio. When the weather gets a little better, we'll get you in the studio to talk about the history of the Butler family. But we wanted to get you on here tonight so you could say your thank yous. We got a segment here we got to do with Dina because she has a big announcement she wants to make. But we appreciate you calling, and we'll keep the updates going for you, brother, and we love you. And just do what the doctors tell you and get better so we can see you in the summertime, all right?
Yes, sir, buddy. Just come out to your local racetrack, support no matter where you want to go. If you're not there, you're wrong.
That's right.
There you go. Absolutely.
That is a standard line that Clay uses a lot of time, and that's of that's probably working with Clay is what I miss the most.
Yep.
And anytime Clay was at any of the indoor races,
yep,
he always said, "There's plenty of food. Come on over."
Yep.
If you went hungry,
yep,
he said you're wrong.
Yep. and if you're not praying for Clay Butler right now, fans, you're wrong.
You're wrong. 100%.
All right, Clay, be good. We'll talk to you later. All right, Dina has something special she wants to do. She's going to be doing something this year that she's been dying to do for a year now. So she's got the green light. So we'll let Dina talk for a couple minutes here.
Thanks, Uncle Nick. Just thank you guys for having me. Last year was kind of a blip with racing season with me. We're not going to get into that, but I have discussed with Chris Moore, Vice President of Racing at New Egypt Speedway. So I'm going to be back at the helm, being the quote-unquote talent scout for the national anthem at New Egypt Speedway. For me, I think that is a very important part of our sport. I think we're one of the only sports that may still... I don't want to say that still does it, but I think on the local level, I think we may be still one of the only sports that does it.
New Egypt's the only track that has a live.
And I think at New Egypt Speedway, I think that as being a part of that, thank you, Uncle Nick, I've been very proud since day one that it's always been a live singer. We have never had a recorded national anthem on a Saturday night race. So that is something to be proud of. So with the help of my Uncle Nick and Fred and those associated with Wide Open Wednesday, I'm putting it out there. I do have an email address. It's going to be nesanthem@yahoo.com. That's going to go live on Monday, February 17th. If you are interested in singing the national anthem, send me an audio clip, a video clip, something. I already have opening day, the dirt show set up. I already have opening day as a regular opening day at New Egypt set up. But again, if you're interested, you know anyone who's interested, who loves to sing, likes to sing, can sing, you can...
Leaves us out, Fred.
Yeah. But... Yeah, well, the national anthem is a very difficult song to sing. It's not like a karaoke thing, but again, you could sing it. You could play it on your guitar. I have a wonderful guitarist that's going to be coming in doing our national anthem. If you are part of a horn section, you could do that. Yes, his name is Dallas, after the Dallas Cowboys.
We won't hold that against him.
Anything like that, I'm going to try. I have a choir coming. I have a band coming. I'm trying to get some guys down from McGuire to do it. But yes, that email address again is going to be nesanthem@yahoo.com. That goes live February 17th on Monday. And again, your name, where you're from, we'll kind of do that. And just send me like an audio or video clip of you singing. It doesn't have to be the national anthem. It could be whatever.
You know, hold us a Wide Open Wednesday.
Yes, or you can absolutely.
However you get in touch with Tina, we'll get in touch with
Absolutely, 100%. And I just want to thank Chris Moore again for giving me this gig wholeheartedly. He pretty much said to me, he's like, yeah, you take that, because that's just something I could take off of my plate. So I'm very thankful to Chris for the faith. And I might be coming out of retirement, because I don't think I've sang the national anthem in front of a racing crowd in about 2 years. So
that'll be the night we don't go.
Yeah, you may not want to go that night. So
we're going to see Dina at Grandview for Eastern Storm. You got
Eastern
to.
Storm,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Eastern Storm.
All right, now we got to switch it over to Fred to do our sponsors. We can't forget our sponsors. Fred, you got some sponsors over there?
We got our sponsors. You want to do the one?
Thanks, Tina.
So I don't have to talk about myself.
Well, I'll do him after you're done what you're doing. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we got Sage Chiropractic.
Of course we do.
We do. I will be there Tuesday night getting another adjustment. I go every couple of weeks. And last time I was there, I got the treat of having Dr. Carey and Dr. Mike both there at the same time.
Yeah, you were so messed up they both had to take care
of you,
and
right? It took two people to straighten me out. So, you can go over to, nice and easy to find, 123 North Sycamore Street in Newtown. Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey are co-practitioners at Sage Chiropractic. They work to bring a greater understanding and experience of health and life to their local community. They do not talk down to you. They explain to you why they're doing things, how things should work, and then you're not just getting your back cracked. It's chiropractic experience is the best way to do it. So you can give them a call at 215-497-0700, or see www.sagechiropractic.com.
All right, and then, of course, our main sponsor here at Wide Open Wednesday is Fletcher's Garage. Has been serving Bucks County and trusted auto mechanic since way before 2001.
Yep.
Conveniently located in Fairfield Hills, PA. We offer professional mechanical repairs, auto maintenance, outstanding customer service, of course, experience, and they are a AAA approved facility, 24,000-mile, 2-year warranty on all their repairs. And they're located at 480 Hood Boulevard, Fairfield Hills, and they are on the internet at www.fletchersgaragepa.com. You can call them at 215-295-4931. That's Fletcher's Garage, the official sponsor of Wide Open Wednesday. And as I always say, if they can't fix it, it's broke. Okay, so just forget about it. Take it to Fletcher's. They can't fix it. It's broke.
It's
okay?
junked. We call
Bob
Scar
Drayton
Patties.
Incorporated. Sherry and Bob Drayton's been official sponsors since we started this deal, and they've been in the crap business since 1955. They're number one and the number two business. Locally owned and operated since 1955. Licensed, insured. Free estimates available. 24-hour emergency service. So, if you're out somewhere and you're stuck on the crapper, or you got a problem with your crapper, they got 24-hour service. Just give them a call. Military and senior discounts available, quality products, and excellent customer service. Bob and Sherry Drayton, they're located at 151 Big Hill Road, Southampton, New Jersey. Their phone number is 609-859-3629, and that's www.mrbobs.com. And when it hits the fan, he's your man, and whatever you eat, he's got a seat. That's Mr. Bob's Incorporated.
And if you want the Wide Open Wednesday treatment like we just gave those three sponsors, we have sponsorship opportunities through Wide Open Wednesday or any one of our social media outlets. We have a bunch of different packages. We have the trifold flyers. You can always contact us at wideopenwednesday24@gmail.com
Or see us in Trenton.
Or see us in Trenton. We'll have a table set up there. A lot of great sponsorship opportunities with us. They'll if you sign on with Wide Open Wednesday, we'll do it here. I'll do it on my Need for Speed show, my America's Mechanic YouTube channel, or Wide Open Wednesday YouTube channel, which we will be doing Saturday morning. Maybe we'll do a Facebook Live Saturday morning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So hang on there. We'll be over at the studio.
And plus, we have another sponsor of our show, and Warren's going to give them a plug.
Yeah, let Warren do that
he's the
one.
owner. Him and Kate.
We can give them the treatment too.
See, we put Warren right on the spot. See,
it's the last page, Warren.
It's the last page, Warren. Going right to the last page.
There we go.
Here's Warren Olson for Flag to Flag. If you ain't in it, you ain't gonna win it.
So Flag to Flag Solutions, folks, is a little business that Kate and I have, and we're premier partners in racetrack management and safety solutions for all of our local grassroots racetracks in the tri-state area. With a commitment to excellence and safety, we provide innovation solutions, experts, guidance, and ongoing support to help the racetracks thrive, prioritizing the well-being of the participants, crew members, officials, fans, and the communities. Through collaboration and education and a relentless commitment to quality, we strive to empower our racetracks to achieve the fullest potential as a premier destination of motorsports enthusiasts. So join us in our mission to elevate racetrack safety and experience and foster a culture of excellence and responsibility in the racing community. Again, Kate and I, it's our little business. You can contact us at flagtoflagsolutions@gmail.com, and a website will be coming soon.
And don't forget, tomorrow is Thursday. So from 9 to 9:30, it's America's Mechanic, Fred Fletcher. And then from 9:30 to 10, it's Need for Speed with Fred Fletcher. And if the weather's not cooperating, it may be Fred Fletcher and Nick Leach
There you
tomorrow.
go.
So we'll see what happens.
It was good work last week. Let's do it again.
Yeah, make it. Well, we gave Jim a bunch of static last week. We'll get him all fired up again. Jim looks like one of the Beach Boys, man. I can imagine him when he was a teenager. He was probably one of the Beach Boys. And we were talking about different things with Mr. Fox. I got to meet him. I got to meet Joe LeCompte. So that was pretty neat last week. So if the weather doesn't cooperate tomorrow, and it doesn't look like it's going to, it looks like it's going to rain all night again. So I may be here tomorrow morning, gang. So make sure, 9 o'clock, make sure you tune in to America's Mechanic and the Need for Speed tomorrow.
Yep, we'll be here. And WBCB will be here.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No matter
Popular
what you read
what
on
you read.
Levittown Now,
Yeah.
WBCB is going to tell them, Fred.
Yeah, forget that Levittown Now stuff. Yeah, WBCB's been here forever, since 1957. I've been advertising for 20 plus years. And without WBCB, I'm not here. And so, it's WBCB's not going anywhere, so forget that Levittown Now stuff. So hang out with us, we'll fill it in some more.
And there you have it.
All righty. Do you feel the need for speed and are a car racing fan? Then tune in every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. for the Need for Speed Auto Show, hosted by me, America's mechanic, Fred Fletcher. Everything you want to know about our local tracks and races to the NASCAR scene, as well as our area car shows and cruise nights. Brought to you by Fletcher's Garage in Fairless Hills and heard every Thursday morning at 9:30 on WBCB 1490 AM, 107.3 FM, and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3, serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since